Wike broke several laws in that viral video. In fact, I can count 6 laws that Wike broke. 6. Let's go through them. Number 1, the penal code. Nigeria has the penal code and the criminal code. The criminal code is for northern Nigeria. The penal code is for southern Nigeria. Now, FCT falls under the penal code. Section 397, Section 114, Section 400 of the penal code. You saw the struggle that almost happened. There was almost a breakdown of law and order there. In fact, these people would have started shooting themselves. You saw the DSS guy. You saw the police with the soldier. Just small thing. And that could have been an armed confrontation. All because of Wike's statement. The next law that Wike broke is the Public Order Act. Disorderly behavior in public place or in public places that threatens peace and disrupts official operation. Even shouting at an officer qualifies as disorderly behavior in a public place that threatens peace. And that's what Wike did. And then if you go to number 5, Constitution and the Code of Conduct, 5th schedule. Public officials must maintain behavior that does not bring their office into disrepute. What Wike did in that video, does it exemplify a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? If an outsider was watching that video and the outsider did not know that Wike was a minister, what do you think the outsider would think, the foreigner would think? You probably would think that was one drunkard. That's what the outsider would probably think. It's because we know that he is Wike and is a minister. That is why it's as if the enormity of his action is not glaring to us. Public officials must maintain behavior that does not bring their office into disrepute. Insulting a soldier in public violates that ethical code. There is a code of conduct that guides the behavior of public servants, including Wike, including even the president. Did Wike follow that code of conduct? And then number 6, you have public service rules. There is something they call serious misconduct. Unruly behavior, abuse of authority, and disgraceful conduct. These are grounds for disciplinary actions against a minister. So when people say leave Wike, he is powerful, that should not be the response. The truth is simple. Power does not put you above the law. It doesn't, at least not on paper. So this matters for Nigeria. It matters. We can't just watch the video and then we rant and we move on. No, it matters that we take particular action. And why does this matter for Nigeria? A society collapses when public officials behave like emperors. Is that not what we have seen of Wike since he became Minister of the FCT? Many argue that he has been like that even from the days of being governor of Rivers State. But is that not what we have seen, to the extent that Wike, an individual citizen, was able to hold the government of Rivers State to a standstill and nothing happened? We cannot continue to allow actions like this by people like Wike to go unanswered. A society collapses when public officials behave like emperors. If a soldier, that soldier in particular, Yerima, if he had shouted back, those of you saying Wike is right would have been the ones calling for him to be dismissed. If you insult a soldier today as a normal citizen, what will happen to you? I can assure you that you will be arrested immediately. So why should Wike's case be different? If Wike is a minister, does that put him above the law? No democracy survives when there are two sets of laws. When there is one set of law for the powerful and then another set of laws for the rest of us. No. It is called rule of law because nobody is above the law. So if it is good for the goose, it must be good for the gander. Action must be taken against Wike today because there is a bigger danger if we don't. What is that bigger danger? This kind of behavior from Wike sends one very dangerous message. Very dangerous message to the hearts and minds of Nigerians. And that was the message that Buratai was trying to remind Nigerians about. What is that dangerous message? That the uniform that protects us in Nigeria means nothing. That institutions can be bullied by single individual. We saw how Wike single-handedly bullied the Rivers State House of Assembly, bullied the Rivers State government. So if we allow Wike to get away with this one again, it further reinforces that very dangerous message that the uniform that protects us mean nothing, that institutions can be bullied, ministers can treat security agencies as personal property. See the way Wike was slapping those DSS official. And those ones don't chop belleful, pot belly, full everywhere. They don't even understand what it means to be dignity. How can a minister that DSS officials were assigned to protect now be slapping DSS officers around as if the DSS officials were his houseboy? And because those ones don't chop belleful, overfeeding, can't be like say sense don't waka. The people that are supposed to restrain the minister to make sure that he behaves in a way that complies with the law, they are now seen to be trigger happy, trying to please Wike to the extent that when Wike was dehumanizing DSS officials, they didn't see it as anything. That dehumanization of DSS official is critical. And if we allow the actions of Wike against this soldier, against those DSS officials to go unanswered, it sends a dangerous message. Once that message enters the system, enters the hearts and minds of Nigeria, what do you think will happen? Insecurity grows. The rule of law dies. And citizens lose confidence in the state. We cannot let Wike get away with this. We must take action. And there are certain actions that must happen next. Some things should happen next. Number one, this is where Nigeria must grow. Not with violence, not with sentiments, but with law and with accountability. Three things should happen. Number one, the military authorities should issue an official query demanding clarification from the FCT minister. I know the Minister of Defense has come out to say, oh, if the soldier was on a lawful duty, his rights will be protected. That's not enough. As a Minister of Defense and the Minister or the Chief of Defense Staff, you should write an official memo, an official query to the President calling on the Minister of the FCT to clarify why he broke ranks. Instead of dealing with the President or dealing from minister to minister and minister to the Chief of Defense Staff, he broke ranks and decided to go into the gutters to deal directly with a junior officer, to the extent that He openly insulted that junior officer. So there should be an official query from the Ministry of Defense demanding clarifications from Wike. 2, the presidency should remind all ministers of their code of conduct obligations. To whom power is given, there is more responsibility expected. Yes. Those in power should be held to a higher standard than ordinary citizens. If we citizens are expected to obey the law, public officials are expected to obey the law doubly. So the presidency should remind all ministers, we should see that memo, that information, that press release, that all ministers should remember their code of conduct obligations. Then number 3, and this is the sweet one. Civil society groups and citizens should file formal complaints, because that video is enough evidence to trigger an investigation under the penal code, under the code of conduct, and under public service rules. This is how societies mature. By holding leaders to the same standards that they impose on the citizens. It's not enough to just rant and make mockery of this whole issue. It's not enough. We must hold Wike accountable by filing formal complaints. And this is not the time to say, oh, what will they do? They are all the same. No, write it first. There is a power that comes from putting something in black and white. If you sit down and just assume, oh, let the police take action, the police will pretend as if they didn't see anything. The Code of Conduct Bureau will pretend as if they didn't see anything. The security agencies will pretend as if they didn't see anything. But when citizens file formal complaints, they cannot pretend anymore. As much as they will try to hide the matter and sweep it under the carpet, the evidence is overwhelming. So we, the citizens, must file formal complaints.